Some of you may know that we use wood to heat the boat shop here. And we use an outdoor wood furnace. And it's a hungry beast. We will typically go through 4, maybe 5 cords of wood through the course of the winter, obviously depending on how cold it gets. And so I have a fair bit of work to do when it's nice and warm out like today, 1st of September, processing wood. And I've got a couple of storage sheds. This one's pretty well full. And I can hold almost 3 cords. This is my older shed, but it's about the same size. And so we've got the back wall full here, and we've got about 11 3/4 feet long, 7 feet high, and that's just one layer. You can see there on the floor, getting ready to start the second layer. Now, I don't know what we got here. We probably got a little better than a cord left that we need to process. Some of this is a little bit wet, so we got to resplit it and try to help it dry out. I do like some bigger chunks in this outdoor wood furnace, but we also supplementally heat the house with a wood stove insert, and it helps cut down our propane costs. So when I find the smaller sticks in the pile, I throw them in here, or either some bigger pieces that are lighter weight, feel pretty dry. We resplit those down, and we'll carry this down to a little wood shed down at the house. All right, so as I'm out here doing all this work, my brain starts turning and my entrepreneurial spirit kicks in. And I think, I wonder if I could make any money rebundling this and selling bundles like at Casey's or the convenience store up in town. Now, I don't know how much they buy their wood for, but I can tell you that any recent experience I've had with buying bundled firewood has been rather disappointing. We were on a camp out last weekend down on the Current River in the Ozarks, and we bought some firewood to burn for our campfire, and we couldn't hardly get it to burn because it was so wet. So I think we can make a superior product as long as we're putting together wet wood, but then the question arises, can we make any money at it? So I've done a bit of calculation, and I think, yes, we probably can. And I'm going to go into big detail to explain how much money I think we could make by rebundling our firewood. So I made this little deal, just a simple little thing out of a 2x2, and we have about 10.5 inches on the bottom, and it's almost 11 inches tall. And then our sticks, just the way they come from our wood supplier, are about 16 inches long. So we're going to do some math and see, because that'd be a sizable bundle. That'd be, you know, more sticks most than you would get, and they're split down a little bit better to where a normal person could burn them in their fireplace. Sometimes you buy these bundles and they got, you know, sticks that are like that. That's good for this wood furnace here, but it's not good for the guy with his average fireplace. All right, so can we make any money rebundling this? First thing, you got to know a little bit of the dimensions and math involved with this to figure it out. So a cord of wood is typically 128 cubic feet, and that means that it's split and stacked, and typically 4 feet wide, 4 feet high, and 8 foot long. And so you take 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot, and you come up with 128 cubic feet. Now, I did the math, and that also equals 221,184 cubic inches. Why did I go to that extra effort? I don't know, because I'm a freak. But what I'm doing is I'm not going to have a cubic foot in my bundle. And part of the reason is because the wood comes in lengths of about 16 inches. So I suppose you could figure it out, and I've got close. That little test bundle thing I've got outside will make a bundle that'll be about 10.5 inches by 11 inches by the 16-inch length, which gets us about 1,850 cubic inches. So you see why I broke this down to inches. I mean, if you could make cubic foot bundles, so in other words, 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches, you should be able to get 128 bundles. That's pretty simple math. When I break it down into cubic inches and account for the fact that I'm not going to do 12 by 12 by 12, I'm going to do the 10.5 by 11 by 16, I get to about 1,850 cubic inches. Just for comparison, I believe the 12 by 12 by 12 would be 1,728 cubic inches. So we're talking about maybe another 125 cubic inches the way I'm doing it. And so when you divide all that out, I should be able to get about 120 bundles out of a cord. Now, I pay between $300 and $350 to have this wood delivered. And so it's already split. The guy drops it off, and hopefully it's somewhat dry. If I can sell these at $5 a bundle and get $600 total, I should be able to make almost double my money. So that seems like a worthwhile endeavor. Now, your profit margin goes way up if you either start selling at retail to just some customers that want to buy it from you directly, or you come up with your own wood. I got 35 acres in this farm, and better than half of it's timber. Now, a lot of it's live trees. It would take a long time to dry, but there's a bunch of dead stuff out there too. Or get on Facebook Marketplace. You can get on there all day, every day, and find people that have a tree cut down in their yard and they just want to get rid of it. And they'll say free firewood. And all you got to do is go cut it up and haul it off. And I got a whole trailer out there that I did a couple of months ago where it was relatively close to me. I spent the morning on a Saturday with the chainsaw and loaded it up, and it's still out there in the trailer waiting for me to process it some. So your profits skyrocket if you can come up with your own wood. I've gone to great effort to do all this math, and quite honestly, the numbers seem a little light to me. I feel like we should be able to get more bundles out of a cord of wood. So I thought, I'm going to try this just one other way. And so I went into the woodshed and I marked off 4 foot high by 8 foot long of what I already have stacked. And that, just kind of roughly counting it, I was about 13 pieces high and about 25 pieces long. So that 4 by 8 would be a third of a cord. You have to have 3 16-inch stacks to get your other 4 feet wide. So doing the math, it works out to a little better than 1,000 sticks of wood for a cord. And we're going to go split some of these pieces the way they come and put them in the bundler and see how many sticks it takes, and then maybe do a little bit of different math. So come with me outside. Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out is the way this comes split to me and delivered. We got pieces like this, and I want to know when I split this down and fill up our little bundler, how many of these sticks is it going to take? So we're going to split a few of these down to where they're nice and decent size for the average homeowner. That's pretty dry. So that's one piece. That's 2 pieces. Okay, so that was 6 pieces. 6 of our normal size that we get from our supplier to fill that up. All right, let's look in the woodshed for a second. Okay, a little while ago, I found myself a 4-foot 2x2, and I just got leaned up there, and it is 8 feet away from this wall. And so I just counted. Now, was about 25 sticks, pieces of wood coming up the 4 feet, and it was about 26 coming across, which is strangely double. So if you take 26 times 13 and then times 3, because this would be a rick, this 8 foot by 4 foot, that's just one thickness, only 16 inches deep. So you'd have to have 3 of these to make a cord. So it works out to about 1,014 sticks in a cord. And I just used 6 sticks to make that bundle. Let's go do the math. 1,014 divided by 6 would be 169 bundles. Take that times $5 and you're up around $845. That's some serious profit. If you like the video, remember to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.